Hey, this is Randy from Bible Buying Guide. Today I wanted to tell you about a special deal from Cambridge for the New Cambridge Paragraph Bible with Apocrypha. This is the original edition, the big one. They actually still have a few of these left in stock. And they have offered a good deal to Bible Buying Guide readers. You can order this directly from them through email, and I'll place the email in the notes. But you can get it for $140 or 95 pounds, 95 British pounds. So let's take a look at this Bible. It comes in a nice slipcase. This is a big Bible. It's kind of large, just a little bit. It is 4 pounds. 4 pounds, so it's kind of heavy. It's not the heaviest Bible that I use. But let's take a look at the size. Let's see what we got here. We have 10 and a half by 7 and a half. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 2 inches thick. In that range. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. Right at 2 inches. 10 and a half, 7 and a half by 2 inches. Okay, so let's look at it. It's French Morocco cover. So this means this is an embossed grain. It is a stiff cover, but you know it's not like hardcover. But it is rugged. It is rough. It does have that shine that you can see there. And then the spine we have New Cambridge Paragraph Bible with Apocrypha, King James Version, and then the Cambridge seal. All right, so we open this up and we have a really elegant paste down liner. Opens really easy, but that material is really interesting. I don't know if you can see that well in the video, but that is really nice. It's a nice material. The paper is, of course, it's Smythe Sewn. The paper is 40 GSM, so super thick paper, even thicker paper than the wide margin Cambridge editions. So let's see. It shows here that it has the typeset in 10-point Swift, and that 12 and a half is the what they call leading. That's the space between the lines. So this is the original from 2005. Now, when they re-released this in a personal size edition and in the Penguin Classics paperback edition, they did update some things in this. This one still has those original things that have been updated in the other editions. It's not been updated in this. So this is still the one from 2005. And you can see a list of all that in the written review for BibleBuyingGuide.com. I'll place a link to that, and it has links to all the information about the updates. So it does include the, as I'm flipping through here and seeing it does show the editor's introduction, and he's telling about the purpose of this, what's the deal, what's going on. And then it has the letter to King James, and then the translators to the reader with notes. Nice design there. Now the big deal about this Bible is two things. The first is the translation update. Now he didn't change words like these and thous and all that. None of that is changed. What he did, what David Norton did, and you can see my interview with him on BibleBuyingGuide.com. I'll post a link to that in the review of this also, in the written review. What he did was, instead of looking at all the changes that have been made to the King James since 1611 up to 1769 being the last official update, and then we've had 1870, we had several other updates since then. So instead of looking at all those updates, what he did was went back to the original 1611, went back to the original translator's notes, what they meant for it to have, and he got rid of all the updates that have happened since then and went back to that original. And then what he did was words that have changed in spelling, and we've done this all along anyway, like the word son and things like that. We've letters have changed, words have changed. So words that have changed in spelling, he has used current spelling according to the current British spelling, like the word show. Originally it was SHEW, and that's what we see in the 1769 edition. He spells it according to today's spelling, SHOW. And then also, of course, you can tell the other thing is the layout itself is in single column paragraph. We'll get into that in just a minute. But maybe you can see some things here. There's a little quotation marker for dialogue. So dialogue is in quotes. Now this is the British style quotes, which means it's a single quote. And then nested quotes are in double quotation marks. That's the opposite of how we would do it here in America. But that is the British style. And then punctuation has been updated to today's current, which actually is closer to the 1611 than the 1769 is. Every single time that the King James had been updated, the punctuation and things were updated to the current time. So what he's done is just updated it to the current time. I like that. It's not for everyone, but I do like that. Footnotes are placed in the inner column, which actually give you quite a bit of space if you want to make notes. And as you can see, this thing stays open ridiculously easy. I'm not fighting against that at all. It's easy. And this paper, thick paper, is easy to turn, has a little bit of an ivory color to it or eggshell color to it. No glare under direct light. Really good. The font is easy to read. He doesn't include anything like self-pronouncing marks. He doesn't include italics. There's a reason that he took those out. For one thing, they mean something different to us today than what they meant then. And so he just takes them out because they don't really serve their purpose anymore. Plus, they're not 100% complete anyway. But, so it's a clean text, easy reader. Really easy to read. The verse numbers are there. They're a little bit difficult to find. So if you're trying to preach from this, it can be hard. But the verse numbers are there. And as you can see, what he's done here, let me zoom in. The purpose is to focus on readability. In other words, rather than the text design being, say, a slave to the verse divisions, it's like they took the verse divisions away, like they took the chapter numbers away. Then they designed the layout and then put all that back in. And that fixes some things. It fixes broken sentences. Whereas our typical King James, you would have a capital letter for every single verse, even if it's in the middle of a sentence. But he doesn't do that here. I like you'll see. I'll show you some examples in a minute. But here's an example of a poetic setting. And it does mostly have line matching. Where it usually doesn't have line matching is the first page of a book. I don't know why, but it seems to be consistent. The first page of a book does not include line matching. It's not so obvious with this paper. Actually, it probably shows up a little bit more in the image here than it does in real life. Books start mostly, not always, but mostly, start on the right side. So you'll have this page blank if you want to do some note-taking or whatever. And let me show you one of those examples I was talking about where things are fixed. As we just thumb through here to look at that. It's clean. Very clean. This is easy to read. Possibly the best reader of any KJV that I've used. Now, there are no callouts to the notes. So you'll have a footnote over here, and it'll show you what the verse number is. It'll show you what the word is it's linking to, and then it'll give you the footnote. Now, these are translator's footnotes. It's not anything that he's come up with or anything like that. And it does identify the differences between original translator's notes and translator notes from later editions. He does include them. So let's see. Psalms is just pretty. All right, here's a couple of examples. Psalms 96, 12, and 13. At the end of verse 12, it says, the trees of the wood rejoice. And then verse 13 starts with, before the Lord, comma. In most KJVs, of course, that's going to be a capital B, as if it's a separate thought. But you can tell here, if you just take the number away, the trees of the wood rejoice before the Lord. That's one sentence, and it should be one sentence. So they fixed this. I like that. That's Psalms 96, 12, 13. They do this again in Psalms 98, 8 and 9. And there are other examples. I'm just scratching the surface on examples for that. There are several other examples, but a lot of places are fixed. Let's see, poetic setting all the way through. Not enough, in my opinion, in the New Testament. There is the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is placed on its own after the Old Testament books. So it's not like the Catholic Bibles that will place them within the rest of the text. It's separate. So it is set out separately. Now here's a letter. Letters are indented so that they stand out. There's the Apocrypha. This one numbers them along with the rest of it. But I was going to show you in the New Testament. We have poetry in the New Testament also. You mostly see this in Luke. Luke 1 and 2. There are a few places where I would like to see poetry set up in the New Testament. That's not here. In other translations, you see quite a bit more poetry. But then here we have a letter in the book of Acts. So there are 2 letters in Acts, and both are indented so that they stand out. I wouldn't mind seeing a space between them, but that's me being picky. And you see all the way through here, where anywhere you have a letter, they're indented. The easiest to see is the book of Ezra, because they are all through the book of Ezra. So you can tell at a glance that's a letter. Letter. See, and that's what I like about a layout. I want a layout to identify. I want prose to look like prose. I want poetry to look like poetry. I want letters to look like letters. I want quotes to look like quotes. Just better for reading. Now, this is a large Bible. And this is clean. Very clean. And the paragraphing goes all the way through the end of the New Testament. So he's not following Pilcrows or anything like that. Let's look at another place where a chapter is fixed as an example. Right here. Acts 22. Most KJVs, you're going to have Acts 22 start on a separate spot, and with verse 1 starting way down here somewhere. And even the Clarion does that. And the Clarion is a single column paragraph. But what this one does is places it within the dialogue just like it should be. Verse 1 starts right here. And he spoke unto them in the Hebrew tongue, saying, comma. And that's how you end chapter 21 of the book of Acts. This one fixes that. It just ignores the fact that there's a chapter break and keeps going, because it should, because that's part of the paragraph. So I like that. And that's just one example, but there's several examples where that's fixed. And I like that. But you can still buy this. They only have a few left. Not enough left to put it in their catalog. But I'll post links in the bottom. Post the information in the bottom of how to buy it. It doesn't have anything else in it. No maps. I like maps, but no maps. Nothing else like that. Clean reader. Just an excellent Bible for reading. I wouldn't mind having more poetry in the New Testament, but other than that, just a few little tiny things. But this is still one of the cleanest designs. Still one of the cleanest designs. I like it. Now let's take a look at a couple of other Bibles to compare with. Of course, the first one that everybody's going to want me to show is the New Cambridge Paragraph Bible, personal size. Now this one is quite a bit smaller, and you can see the difference here. Let's see, let's go to something like Proverbs or Psalms. That'll do. So you can see the difference there, how that looks. Let's go to a Psalm somewhere. That'll look somewhere where we have a lot of. That'll give you an idea though of how it looks, what it looks like compared. This one is actually more enjoyable to read for a couple reasons. First, of course, is the fact that it's a larger print and better paper. You can see through this paper quite a bit more. And both are dark. Nice dark fonts. Nice dark and clean. Now this is the one that I'm going to carry if I was going to carry one or the other. I don't think I would want to carry this one so much. Now I've seen people carry these though. I've seen, not this one, but I've seen people carry Bibles that size. And let's take a look at the Clarion. quite a bit smaller of a Bible, and quite a bit more show through. The show through is very obvious in the Clarion, especially where it doesn't line up. There are not a lot of places where it doesn't line up, but where it does, it's kind of obvious. I do love the design of the Clarion. I love the size of the Clarion. It's just a great Bible for carrying and reading. Nice Bible. I'll show you Acts, what I was talking about a minute ago. Acts 21. This paper is a lot thinner. It's a lot lighter Bible too. I've not had page roll with this one. I have with this one. There's a letter. There's the other letter in the book of Acts. And see, this one gives you the standard in the Hebrew tongue saying comma, and that's the end of the chapter, and then starts a new chapter here. This one ignores that. I like that, because this one puts the context first and the verse numbers second. I like that. Just a quick look at the size here of the Clarion. Show the differences there. Quite a bit different. Quite a bit. Very much obviously a smaller Bible. So let's take a look at a couple more single column editions. This is the Legacy. And here's what it would look like up against it. Now this one has thin paper. This is the 28 GSM paper compared to 40 GSM. So this is going to be a lot smaller Bible. And to be honest, you can tell the difference in the show through. This is easier paper to turn because it's a little bit rougher of a texture. Not rough textured, but more rough, whereas this is more smooth, and that's a little bit more difficult to grab. It's not bad, but still, it's not as easy as this. But you can see this doesn't have as much space between the lines. This one doesn't break the lines so much. It tries to keep the thoughts together, even sometimes going even out into the margin a little bit, like right there. It would rather do that than break it. And there are a few places where they should have used it, I think, that they didn't. But just as examples. Let's take a look at our size. Footprint's not that much different. It is. I mean, yeah, of course it is, but it's not that much different. Quite a bit thinner. Now, if they made this with this paper, they could make this Bible more useful, more usable. It can make it thinner. It can make it better for carrying. As it is, it's better for reading at a table or for preaching. But I mean, if they use this paper, it'd be great for carry, I think. This is one of my favorite single column editions. This is the Pastor's Bible, the CSB Pastor's Bible. And the thing I like about it, you can see the footprint is pretty close, pretty similar. I mean, yeah, it's not a massive difference. Obviously smaller, but just to give you an idea. Pretty dark, about the same size. Maybe this might be a touch larger. For its size, this has more space between the lines. Both are nice. They really are. You can see the difference in the paper. A lot more show through here than what you see here. You know, of course, it makes the Bible smaller to have thinner paper, so that's a good thing too. But they both look really good. Take a little bit more look through here. If you're going to look at some of the pros, maybe. I'd also like to have this one without the Apocrypha. I wish they would do that just for me. Make it happen. And then another, just to show the size, I want to compare it to the ESV Study Bible. This is a large Bible. That's a big one. Footprint on these are really similar, really close. The ESV Study Bible is actually thicker. if I remember correctly, it's heavier. At the very most, they're about the same. I'll measure here in a second, weigh it and see. And then you can tell the difference in the paper, of course. This font is just a touch smaller than this one. More show through. The show through, to me, the show through is what really makes this shine in its layout. The fact that it doesn't have any other interruptions within the text itself, and the fact that the show through is minimized, whereas like on these, it stands out to me. Partially, I think part of that is because I'm comparing. I don't know that I would notice it so much. Yeah, I probably would. Let's take a quick look at the weight on this guy. Real quick here. Just to get a comparison. I'm not sure you can see this. 4 pounds, 4 ounces. Just to compare, this one is 4 pounds, 1 ounce. It's actually gained weight since I measured it last, I think. But there's those, and one more. Here's the Humble Lamb New King James. Let's see what we got here. In comparison to this guy. This one's a little bit thinner, not a whole lot, but a little bit thinner. A little bit shorter, a little bit narrower. Footprint, and then the thickness is pretty close. Pretty close. And then here's what we look like inside. So this font is larger. This does have some good leading. I mean, it does really look good. Paper is white. This paper is whiter than this paper is. Not quite as opaque, of course. They both look pretty good. So this is probably the closest I've seen to the New King James style of layout. Not that it's following a New King James layout, because a New King James layout in the New Testament would also include some poetic setting, such as this right here. For example, there in the book of Acts. Whereas you're not going to see that here. And, well, let's do one more. The New King James Scholar, which is actually an upgrade to the old single column paragraph Thomas Nelson. Just to get an idea of what we got here. I turned to the same chapter by accident. So this one has just a slightly larger font. This probably has better paper than any of the others that I've compared to. But this one still has less show through than this one does. If I remember correctly, this is somewhere around 36 GSM, I think. Color-wise, about the same. This might be a little bit more creamy. I don't like a yellow, but I like a little bit of a creamy color. But yeah, they both look really good. So let's look at the size. Little bit. These I'd say are the size of a basic size study Bible. This one would be like maybe a large print study Bible. Thickness, a little bit thicker than that one. So yeah, they both look really nice. But anyway, there's the New Cambridge Paragraph Bible, French Morocco with Apocrypha, 10-point font, 10.5, something like that. Let's go back, make sure we say it the correct way. Do what I like to call the right way. 10-point font, 40 GSM paper, 1 ribbon, red and gold head tail bands, gold gilt, no art gilt here, paste down liner, and you can still buy them, $140 or 95 pounds directly from Cambridge. And when you order from them, you're going to order through email. You're going to tell them what you want. You're going to, or how many you want, and they're going to handle it manually. So you won't be able to just click and buy and you're done. You'll have to send them the information. They'll have to call you and discuss it with you. They'll get your credit card information from you over the phone or something along that line, or they'll send you an email. I'm not going to tell you how they do it, but they'll do it the way they want to do it. But then they'll discuss with you how to do the buy, how to do the purchase and all that. And then it might take you a week to hear from them once you send them the information. So, I mean, it's all manual. It's all going to be the manual way. But I like this Bible. This is an excellent Bible for reading. It's an excellent Bible for study. And it's an excellent Bible for preaching, although the numbers are a little bit difficult to find sometimes. I don't know that I would want to try to preach from it a lot, but I did enjoy the paper specifically when I was reading from it. Let's see, somewhere around 12 words across, so it's not my ideal. I personally prefer around 10, but it's not overdone like some of the ESVs I've seen and some of the NIVs I've seen. They're kind of quite a bit overdone. Yeah, some of the prettiest poetic setting you'll ever see are right here. Beautiful. So look for the links in the notes if you have any questions. And I did receive this in exchange for an honest review. And that's what I always give, guaranteed, 100% honest review. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.